your next session. Today we are dealing about content marketing and the art of content creation and distribution. Because I think there's a lot of topics going on right now and a lot of different ways of not just creating content in diverse formats and also distributing it. To give you a first impression of who's actually talking to you guys and why do we think we can have an opinion about it. It's Andres and me telling you stuff today about content marketing, and both of us are working for Project A since a couple of years and having lots of experience before that in various companies as well. And we saw a lot topics and also did a lot of content marketing campaigns already with diverse companies. And we want to show you some examples of it. So what we learned and what we can teach you out of it, and as well, giving you best cases as well. Maybe afterwards, talking a bit about pitfalls as well, if they are interesting for you as well. Just for a short overview of what we will cover today. First of all, we talk a bit about content marketing today, what is different to what we saw in the past years. Going on with how do we actually evaluate content and what is the path actually up to distributing it in the right way. Having different use cases as well prepared for you, because I think that's like always an obvious part, or the most obvious part of actually seeing what works good and what not, and also maybe giving you some ideas of what you could adapt for your own company as well. And one main part will be also actually about measuring success, because that's one really key issue where we dealt or spent a lot of hours on to really make sure that we are measuring the right KPIs and actually having a main set of numbers of how to evaluate the content you're actually spreading. And at the end, we will also give you some insights on the tools we are actually using and which could be also interesting for you. So coming to the main part of what was content marketing before. When I look at my parents, most of the content they're actually getting is coming out of newspapers, magazines, books. So that's actually how they inform themselves. When we look at ourselves today, I think it spreads a lot in terms of formats and ways how we are actually teaching ourselves to learn something about companies, learn something about topics itself. Today we are asking Alexa, we are asking Google, and also watching videos instead of reading articles. And maybe in the future, the first word of a child will be, okay, Google, before even talking mom and dad. So this is a process where we need to get along with and where we need to get up with for making sure that we are there where our audience is already. And if you're currently looking at your own projects, you might have a blog and you might ask yourself all these questions which are written up, and I won't go through them all, but just keep them in mind if all of them could be answered by you, and if all of them are even measured as well. When we go into ventures and also within due diligence processes as well, we very often see that the content marketing, how it is established in the company, is very broad to the transaction, to the sale, lead, whatever the transaction in this case is. And this is very relevant for the classical brand traffic. Also having in mind there needs to be a brand already. When we come a bit broader in terms of how is actually the search behavior and the search volume, we also need to take into consideration the transactional content. What do I mean with that? That means that people are searching for buying brakes online or printing flyers. So everything which is already combined with your product, with your brand, and with an e-commerce related keyword as well. I think that is an exercise we all did very well in the past, and I think each of you has also the appropriate departments in-house to actually cover these parts of content marketing. What is even way more important is the whole informative content. So making sure that you really understand where your user is in the current flow of searching for something that he really needs to get answers on, and what he really has in mind when considering buying your product. Meaning that if you are selling flyers, I don't even know who are the main distributors in the market, or what are the main players. And I don't even have an idea about what prices are relevant. So I'm not even far off of having all this information. I rather I'm interested in saying what are the main issues if I want to advertise for my hair salon or massage studio, how do I get clients? And the answer might be, yes, you can also do direct mailing, you can do flyer campaigns, and that's actually informative content which can also rely on later on selling flyers. Given another example, Kfz Teile 24, they are selling all car parts. You can say there are a lot of clients out there which really know what they want and what they are searching for, yes. But the broader audience, which we really want to reach, is way off of knowing which tires or which brakes they actually want. So therefore, also keep in mind of informing your people about what tires do I actually need for my car, or what is the difference between premium tires and non-premium tires. So in short sentences, if you want to prepare for the future, it's very important that you are not concentrating just on the short tail, because the broader audience will be on the way left side, and this is also depending on the search behavior, which is changing right now, also via Google, because we are not typing in short keywords anymore. It's rather that we are speaking in full sentences and asking Google of giving us the right answer. And another topic which we always see is how do you actually deal with your organization? And in former times, or still today, we see a lot of content marketing departments which are below SEO, or they are in the category management and just preparing the content for categories for products. Then there will be a CRM department also creating content for their mailings. And there will be also an SEO department creating SEO-related pages. Is that still the right process of continuing in the future? I would definitely say no. What will happen, or what doesn't happen, is that all these departments or channels are not really interacting. So you don't have a combined portfolio or like a roadmap of what your content marketing strategy is. And that's really necessary. Therefore, make sure that your content marketing is really going up in terms of take it as an own channel, and also make sure that the people which are dealing with the content marketing have a really diverse set of skills, meaning that they're able to spread social content, that they're able to deal with videos, that they're able to deal with podcasts, and not just being the single point of writing content and text all day long. When we now look at the process from evaluation to distribution, what very often happens is that the PR department is very heavily working on certain PR clippings of really spreading the brand into their audience. And at the other end, we are waiting with our brand traffic that this might have an effect out of that. But what is really important in between is that from the long process of, yes, I once read an article, until, yes, I want to buy something and search for the specific company, there is a lot of potential of using different kind of integrations as well. One of that is also written here, is like a magazine or a social posting. And another one is also like an advertorial. And these are like certain ways of having further integrations. Yeah?
Can you say what TIS means?
Display, I'm just coming to that, yeah. So these are like further formats of where and how you can inform your people about your products, about your solutions, about really asking or answering the why do I need your product, what is your company worth for. And below these channels like PR, SEO, CRM, display, and SEA will or should just give you a direction of how you actually are able to deal with all these funnels, because each person coming from PR clippings, coming from magazine or advertorial integrations has a totally different mindset or information status currently, and you can't leave him alone. Yeah? It's not enough to actually wait until he afterwards types in Google buying brakes online. You need to guide him through the funnel of really coming closer to the conversion. And that's what I actually meant with integrating SEO, CRM, display, and SEA in here, that after a PR clipping, you can actually already try to collect a newsletter address of that person. And with the newsletter address you're having, you should be, it should be possible for you to define a separate channel, because you know that his information status is way off. So you can actually teach him way more about what your product is about, what your brand actually stands for, and what solution he actually gets. And after a magazine or a social article, this user might already know way more about you. Therefore, it's possible to already have like separate display campaigns in there to actually grab up the informational status he's currently in. Yes?
What is advertorial in this case? Is it like a landing page that's like kind of optimized, or?
You can actually book advertorials with magazines like Brigitte, Automotorsport, Huffington Post, where you are spreading content which seems to be like the content of the magazine, but it's actually promoting your product.
So it's like Outbrain, but offline?
Outbrain is like, it's kind of Outbrain, but it's more structured in the way of integrated into the magazine style, yeah? So that you would actually think that, like a journalist, wrote this article.
Do you have any recommendations for advertorials, like what sources to use? Because I'm coming from online and I have never thought about using advertorials, but it sounds interesting.
Actually, like most of the magazines or portals already offer advertorials, so feel free. I don't know what your product is about, but...
Finance.
Finance, very good. Because we also have like a finance venture in our portfolio and did this as well. So you can also reach out to finanzen.net or Capital, and there's also possible to book an advertorial with them. So what I wanted to show you in this scene is like really the content marketing as it is today is like really more conversational, and it's really important of asking the right questions to your audience and giving all the solutions and answers to that, and to actually give a little bit of examples to you as well. Andrus will now focus on giving some use cases where we had really good results on it.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you for being here. So we have a big competitor in the other room. Florian Heinemann is talking about Alibaba. So I hope that you came here even knowing that. And if you are forced to be here, you are free to go. Just talking about some colleagues. So yes, I'm Andres Tapia. I'm the head of SEO and content marketing at Project A. I work together with Dorothy. I'm going to keep going with what she was saying. And basically what I'm going to do right now is just to explain you 4 real, very good examples of content marketing activities or campaigns that some of our ventures did. And yes, and I'm going to start with Home Day. If I say something wrong, we have some Home Day people here, so they can correct me at any time. So Home Day, actually, what they do. Home Day is just, if you wanted to sell a house, an apartment, they find for you the right real estate agent for your special case. The goal that they have with this campaign, it was mostly because of SEO. So they wanted to get more quality links. So SEO, one of the things that you have to do in order to improve your rankings is to get a lot of links. If they are quality links, like for big authority website, the better. So what they did is they created this infographic that you can see there on the left side, or in the right side. Basically, the infographic is about what the different parties, the German parties, have to say, what is their opinion regarding real estate topics. It's a really long infographic. You just see the beginning of it, but it has a lot of information, really, really nice one. And what they did is just basically gather a list of emails from journalists that may be interested in that content, and they just send email to all of them. So you just say, hi, we are Home Day, and we created this infographic. You are free to use it. Maybe it's interesting for you if you are writing about the next election in Germany. And the only thing that we ask you is please mention us, say that we are the source of this infographic. And it got really good. So they got some links. And what you have to think about is that, if, for example, here you have Focus.de. If you talk to Focus.de and you ask them to get an article, most of the time what they're going to tell you is just, OK, just go talk with our sales department and pay for a sponsored article. So these kind of things, getting these links for free, because what actually they didn't pay for that, is not easy. So this is what I would say is a good campaign that helped them in terms of SEO. Second company I'm going to talk is Pets Deli. So really simple. They sell high-quality food for pets. And they have a goal. The goal was to increase the awareness of how bad is the normal pets food that you find in the market right now. So people doesn't know that, but a lot of pets are getting sick because of the food that you usually buy in a normal, in Rewe or whatever market. And what they did is actually, we did that internally. We created this landing page. One of my colleagues, Aaron here, created this landing page about the truth about animal food. And what he did is just to list and to explain what can you find right now in the dog food and cat food. And at the end of this landing page that they created, there was a little email, so you could register to a newsletter. And if you register after that, you get an email from Pets Daily saying, OK, we offer this solution to that problem. And this format, this kind of landing page, worked really good in social media, especially in Facebook. And they got more than 18,000 shares. It was paid, so there was some money involved on that in sponsoring this post. But you have to think about that until now, it's still the cheapest lead generation campaign that Pets Daily got. So at the end, the cost per lead was the cheapest one that they got for comparing with all the other channels. So, and you think about 18,000 shares, you wanted to compare the homepage, for example, of Zalando, have so far just 14,000 shares. So it's a lot. Third company, Carsetalia24. Dorothy already talked about that. They sell car parts. So far, they are the biggest online car parts provider in Germany. And what they did, what they wanted to do is, to get in top of mind of the professionals. So their target group is not the final customer that needs a part for fixing his car or her car, is the professional who fixes the part, because actually are the professional the one that buy the part for your car. So they wanted to be always, they wanted to be the first company that you think when you have to buy a part for your car, for one of your clients. So what they did is these montage videos. They are already in the season number 7, I believe. And these videos are from 5 till 1 hour long. And what they explain is like how to change the brakes of your car, how to fix something, how to clean sometimes the car. Like a lot of, they create a lot of content that is interesting for professionals. OK, the distribution was, of course, through YouTube. And they have as well a blog where they were displaying as well the link to the YouTube video and some screenshots, so you can really in detail go through the whole process. And so far, they got 2 million views in 2017. If you think about how much can it cost you to have 2 million views, you book that in TV with a target group of people really interested on your product. You can see that this is really successful. These 2 million views were for free. They didn't pay for any of this view. They pay for, of course, for the production of the videos, but not for in YouTube, they didn't pay for any marketing activity. So that's really good. Loopline, the last example, is a tool, it's a software that helps you to give, helps employees and managers to give better feedback. So feedback is an important part of being a manager. You wanted to become a better manager and to be a leader, you have to be able to give good feedback. So they help you from the process of preparation of feedback and after that to the reporting of the feedback. So what they have as a goal is they wanted to have more leads. People were not aware of their product. So one way to do that is to generate a lot of information and content about management and HR, like how to manage a team, how to be a better manager. They share this content through Quora mostly, because it was in English. So what they created was like white papers, PDF, and they put them in some landing pages in their domain. And they were to Quora, and they went in Quora exactly to some subforums like related with performance management, with HR, and they started to answer all the questions of the different people that they have in there, pointing to their white papers. And thanks to that, they got some views, of course, all of that for free as well. And the important thing was not that. The important thing is that in these subforums, they became one of the top contributors. So if you go right now to maybe to this performance management forum or the human resources one, you will find them always in the top 10, top 20, okay? So, and summarize a little bit this for example, where we believe that this is really important, and always when doing content marketing is always to follow this process. The process is always, as you can see, I always was talking about goals. At the beginning, you have to define the goals that you wanted to get, even if it's just getting more links to improve your SEO, getting more traffic to get more leads, or like creating content to target maybe customers that are still searching for information regarding your product, and they are not ready to buy. But you need some goals. You need a research, one that you have goals, to find out which one is the best content that you can create for reaching these goals. You need to create the content, and then you have to distribute it in the right channel. Usually the distribution is already planned at the beginning when you are doing the research, and you already have an idea where are you going to publish this content. And at the end, one of important, always is really important, like to have some feedback, to know which number, so are you actually reaching the goals, and which part of this process can be optimized. Sometimes happens that in the research part, you decide to create some content that actually when you wanted to distribute it, you find out that this is not the right content for distributing maybe to journalists. They are not interested in what you created. So feedback is always important. You have to learn, and you have to always improve the process. So now I'm going to give back the word to Dorothy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and defining goals. I mean, we're living in a really dynamic environment, and also maybe known, our CEOs or bosses in general are sometimes a bit, not hesitant enough, or like not reliant enough of really expecting a long-term achievement. So they always want to see short effects on generating sales. And this is also something which comes along when creating content marketing, and when you're creating a blog or creating content on sub-pages or category pages, that very soon after people come to you and ask, what are the results? Should we continue with it? And in most cases, it needs a certain time, because Google also has no time to come like every day around your page and index the new stuff which is on there. So you need a certain time until the results are actually coming in place. And therefore, we would really suggest you to not just have like one goal in terms of pure transaction, pure leads and sales, because there's a lot of stuff in between which can already prove to your management as well that there is a progress, and there is also the time worthiness of waiting until the long-term effects will take place. And here we want to show you examples of what like micro KPIs can also be taken into consideration when actually dealing with content marketing and when making sure to show that it works. So starting off, mobile is like mostly often used for just requesting, searching for stuff. So expecting there already immediate transaction impact might be a bit to offense unless you are having an impulse-driven product which you are selling, which is not always the case. So there I would actually start with visits. Afterwards, another KPIs can be newsletter sign-ups to actually go on with a separate funnel of converting them via your separate CRM and retargeting chains. Then also measuring how many returning users are you actually generating via the content you previously provided. And afterwards, you can actually talk and speak about conversions, so really transactions. And if you have another bit of time left, then you're actually able to predict the CLV, depending of how long is the time between first purchase and second or third purchase. And what we always tell our ventures to really focus on, that content marketing should be really valid channel as well as all the other ones already are, so really KPI driven. And these KPIs first of all, need to be defined, as Andres already said, and you need to make sure that these touch points are measured on a constant way and are also a main part of an integrated part of your data warehouse. So content marketing is like one of the main reports you should also look on an at least weekly basis to control what works good and what not. And out of these learnings, you should then decide what is good and what not, so which article performs and how long does it need to perform, because that's also really valid for you to understand what content pieces need how long to actually gain your user bases and gain transactions out of it. And therefore you can have, or you can really start with an efficient content planning and a strategy to make sure that content which is created now converts in 3 months or in 6 months, depending on the format and channel you are putting it on. And on the right side are also some examples of reports we are standardly use in our ventures. Just to give you an impression of how it could look like. And now coming to the main part as well, so what tools are there which can ease up your life distributing.
Yeah. So now, yes, last part before the Q&A. What I'm going to do is just talk about the tools and agencies that we can recommend. The first one is just us. So if you wanted to do content marketing, we can help you. We offer content marketing and BI, so not just the content creation and distribution. We can help you as well to build a system so you can track the performance. We offer, as I said, from goal definition until the distribution, so the whole process. And we have some frame contracts with some agencies, so we can offer better price in some of the tools. One of the agencies that we use sometimes and we work with is Succedo. What they focus is in generating high-quality links. They created this kind of ebooks or infographics. Here you have one example that they created for Pets Daily about nice places or things that are important. If you have a dog, where can you walk your dog, in which park are better for dogs, and so on. And they have a huge PR team that what does is just to try to contact a potential influencer or journalist that may have interest in this content in order to see this content in their sites and pointing to you as a source. ABCD Agency, they are kind of doing the same, but with really big publications. They take care of the whole process, same as the other company, from creation until distribution, and they have a huge network. Online Facts, another agency as well, we work with them. They have as well like influencers, YouTubers, and bloggers in order to do some kind of different campaigns. It's not just like big publisher, big magazine or newspaper. They're really flexible. They offer you sometimes just the creation of content or just the distribution, so you can talk with them and see what do you really need. And they have as well a big network. For doing the research, if you decide to do it in-house, of course, you always have the keyword planner from AdWords. I guess everyone knows the tool is just about you just type one keyword or a few keywords, and you will see how much is the search volume for all these keywords, how much is the demand, so how many times people are searching for that exact keyword in a month, and you will get a lot of suggestions. So you can compare keywords and more or less see people are interested on A or B. We use as well Ahrefs. We have a frame contract. What they do is two things. You can type in a topic, like for example, in that case, so in this case, I type it real estate, and you can see in the US which one are the articles that are more shared in Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Twitter. So you can find out more or less which kind of pieces of content are really working in different countries. You can do this thing, and as well you can type in a competitor and see which pages from in their domain are the ones that are getting shared the most. You can just go to forums. Like I use a lot Quora and Reddit for that when we talk about English, but in German we can use as well Gute Frage. The point of going to forum and check what people are talking about is just that in all forums you always can type in topics or like filter by topics, and then in some of them you even can filter by the most read articles. So the most read articles about pets food. I think here is the most read articles about dogs food. And you have like 100 articles with a lot of comments, and you can see actually what people are asking for. So in order to find out what your potential customer questions are, this is an amazing place to go, besides of course, to talk with your current customers. Another thing is Amazon. Amazon have always like the famous reviews, no? But now, since 2-3 years in Germany, they have as well questions. So you can as well go, try to find products that are similar to the one that you are selling, and you will get a lot of questions, a lot of customers, and you will understand better what is the typical decision process and what they think before to decide for one product or another. So in that case, you can see like how they talk a lot about what contains exactly this food, and is this a good alternative to the one I'm giving right now to my dog, and so on. And it's for free, as you can imagine. When you go, once that you decide which kind of content do you want it to create, of course, the creation phase, you need designers, but tools like Piktochart can make you really easy to create infographics. It's actually $29 a month, and it works, so you can really create really quick, nice infographics. Carto, more complex. You need to, so they help you to create this kind of interactive maps, but you have to feed the maps with your own data, and at the end it looks really good. So in this case, from home day, you can see in a city like Berlin, like the change of square meter price from the different regions, so the different neighborhoods. And this is kind of a topic that most of newspaper, or a lot of newspapers are interested, because it's a topic that a lot of people discuss. The prices are going up, and people doesn't like that. Should we keep the prices lower? Should we like move to another neighborhood or whatever? Like, it's a topic like that works really well for journalists. And we are right now negotiating a frame contract with them. When we talk about distribution, if we have content and we wanted to pitch this content to some journalists or influencers so they can link to that, we use Budstream in order to coordinate the whole team, because in Budstream you can see like who you are talking to and what is the situation. Like, did they respond? Are they interested? Did I send them already 3 emails? And you can see as well like who from your team is talking to them, so not 2 persons pitch the same thing or to the same journalist. Yeah, $99 a month. Opinary is a distribution tool, so if you already have your own content and you want it to get directly traffic to your content, Opinary create these kind of really nice apps where people can engage, and after, if they engage, they will get kind of redirected, or they will, a piece of your content will be show up to them, and they can interact with that, they can read that, and you pay per engagement. So if a user is and build and interact with the app, then you pay for that. And Outbrain, I think all of you already know it. It's just like this kind of links that you always have in big newspapers. You always have like the links from around the web, or like more information about this topic. So usually what they do is like, you can send your content to them, and they will find out through an algorithm which kind of publication are publishing content related with the one that you are offering, and they will link to that at the end of the articles. You pay per click. Really good thing is that you can scale really quick, okay? So you have a huge network. And again, just for ending up, again, I wanted to repeat the process. The most important thing about content marketing is always to not forget to define goals at the beginning, to have a really good research in order to find out what is working, what competitors are doing, what is for them, what do you believe that could work. have the creation and then the distribution in the right channel based on all the research that you did. And of course, at the end, you always need feedback. You need to improve your system. Same as in content marketing, you always wanted to improve and optimize in order to get better CPOs, better cost per leads. Okay. So now I think it's the time for questions. So anyone? No?
So,
Maybe Martin?
yeah.
Here, there's a question.
So sometimes you hear about a concept called like product channel fit, which basically means some products work better in certain channels, which I think you were showing in the use cases. Are there kind of general guidelines for this? So for example, if your product is targeting 40 to 50-year-olds, who would you target? Versus if you're targeting 15 to 20-year-olds, do you have like guidelines on general product channel fit in that case?
So,
Yeah. So depending of who your target group is, I would actually say if your target group is a bit older, I would actually focus even more in testing first, like advertorials, being like in magazines, because people tend to read more. And if they are, or like also if you are having a B2B product, which is like really complicated to really explain, yeah, then you probably do that best via white paper or starting off with infographics, which really intend or grab a first intent of the user. If your target group is way younger, then probably social media in standard, Facebook, Snapchat, and also YouTube will be the more appropriate channels to test.
So, okay, so that's really helpful. In the case of advertorials, so let's say I'm super obsessive with sending X traffic to a landing page and measuring some final KPI. How do you go about creating like proxy metrics for advertorials? How do you attribute this correctly when it's mostly offline? Do you have proxies for this?
So actually, like with advertorial, we talk is most of the time online and not offline. I think it was a misunderstanding.
Sorry.
But anyway, if you do offline, for example, like it depends of actually what you're selling. If you can use personalized vouchers, like with personalized codes, you can kind of track it. If not, there is always there are different ways. Of course, it's way more complicated than online. But there are some ways we can as well try most of the time is you can try different regions, different cities, and then you see what is the performance in one city versus the other one. And there are always as well AdWords offers as well, like if you are paying for your own brand name in AdWords, like we expect that most of the people that read about you will search for your name in Google. So you can see as well where those people are searching from which city. So you can see exactly in not real time, but you can have a good feeling of where they are coming from. You will not have exactly this person knowing that this person came from that channel and they read your offline magazine or newspaper. You will not know that, but you can kind of estimate.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm just had a small question on content creation. Do you have any tools? Because I didn't see one there for like any service you can send a couple bullet points to and they write you nice content?
Sorry again, please.
I have a question on content creation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if there's any tools where you can give them, like for example, an article, send them a couple of bullet points and they write it for you, and then you define what audience. Because I mean, there are tools for doing just about everything else, like the visual and.
If there is kind of agencies that can create the content for you, that you send them some bullet points and that can create it. Yeah, there is a lot. And there is as well, like, you always find like website like Fiverr or like a lot of freelancing website where you just send them some information, they can do whatever you need. So yeah, there is a lot, and we have contact with some of them, and we have with some of them frame contracts. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think like for the future outlook, I think it will be also interesting to see like what the spread is in future in terms of own-generated content and machine-generated content, because this is already increasing a lot, and I think they will also see a lot of shifts into machine learning.
Yeah, one question about the future. How do you think content marketing, content creation is changing with devices like Google Home and Alexa?
I think it will change in this way that it's more getting into the phase of giving explanations and giving like short stories. I mean, there are already these Alexa skills already now, where like in the morning you can teach yourself about online marketing or about pet food and so on. And I think that's something where we at least don't have any experience yet, but it's very interesting to get into this as a first mover as well, to see how these Alexa skills can be used more, because I think that's like even a further process, and instead of watching YouTube videos, because it maybe also takes too much time in the future, then rather getting explained something during the morning breakfast of what you want to be taught on or what you're actually interested in.
Yeah. If I can say something, like I think like most of the time talking about the future, I have no idea what is going to happen, like at all. But the important thing is we have to be like always like trying to find out what's going on in what companies are doing, and be really active, reading and seeing what others are doing in order to integrate that to our tools or our processes. But I don't know in 5 years if YouTube will have double of traffic or half of it. I don't know. Really.
You had one infographic at the beginning that showed the brand traffic, transactional content, informative content, and just from the perspective of a small young venture where maybe one person is working on content marketing, what do you tell him or her to do tomorrow and the week after that? Where do you start? Is this kind of a pyramid, lower hanging fruits like brand traffic, and then work up from there? Or?
Yeah, like I would first of all go from the most focused part in terms of brand traffic, so really making sure that the conversion narrowest part is being safe, and that you get these users. But this will just take a limited time, and then especially in your case of your company model, this is really limited. The more interesting part is really what questions does my user have, or like as your business model is not known out there, so there is no real traffic coming in, which I can buy also via SEA. Therefore, I have to teach my audience about the solution I'm providing. And this is something where you can actually start with asking your current customers of what their main issues had been in evolving. Is that interesting for me, that product you're offering or not? But also going into external sources to really check what are people actually talking about when later on coming to the solution you're providing.
Hello. What do you think of, how do you compare content marketing that produces a lot of visits, for example, but doesn't convert, versus lower one that produces some visits but has higher conversion rate? Would you, because I assume one would make more of a brand awareness, the other one brings you actual transactions. So how do you decide between the two?
First of all, I would ask myself about why do I produce so much views or clicks as well, and it doesn't convert? Is there just too much time in between, where you can't really measure it good enough? Or is the content too far off, or you are leaving, after the article, you are leaving your user all by himself? And that's probably the main aspect which is currently happening. And because if you imagine that the user takes maybe another 4 weeks until his decision of doing a transaction takes place, try to guide him through that process, because he might not remember that he once read an article from you 4 weeks earlier. So try to catch him via newsletter, via retargeting, and always remember him, and not remembering with your brand, but also maybe trying to also have a different display ad or a different retargeting ad in between of actually focusing on his questions he still might have after reading your article.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if there is no more questions, then...
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
much.